TLDR found out I had a bio daughter from a one-night stand, and her stepdad immediately disowned her. I took her in with open arms and we have a strong bond, but the stepdad wants to reconnect. So what now? In November of 2019, I was playing a game with my wife and our kids when I got a knock on my door. When I opened, there were 2 officers and a shy girl who I will call Jane. I let them in and the cops explained that Jane was my biological daughter. I had no idea of this, but they brought me a DNA test. Then it all made sense. For some backstory, I had a one-night stand 20 years ago with a random woman I met at a party. The woman was actually married, and her husband, who I'll call Steve, found out Jane wasn't his after Jane took a 23andMe test as a small gift from one of her friends. When Steve found out about this, he immediately blew up at Jane and the mom and kicked them both out of the house. During the divorce process, he told Jane that she was a lie, he would never be his daughter ever again, and he never wants to see her ever again. Jane cried and begged for him because she only ever knew of him as her father, but Steve took his name off the birth certificate and went NC. When I asked why she isn't staying with her bio mom, they told me that the mom fell into a depression and started taking drugs. She became verbally and physically abusive until an accident a week ago that caused her to be taken away from CPS. I agreed to let her in, and Jane brought her bags in the house. This was obviously very unstable, as for a while Jane was shy around us. She didn't talk a lot. My wife and I were welcoming to her as much as we could. Our oldest son Alex immediately started loving Jane and tried to spend time with him. He always wanted a sister and spent a lot of time with Jane. Our younger son Tony was a newborn when she arrived, so he just grew up with her and loved her naturally. Over time Jane started becoming more open with us. We got closer and closer, and in December 2020 when the family was having a movie night, Jane kissed me on the cheek and said, "I love you, Dad." We all cried, except me, of happiness. My daughter is now a beautiful 19-year-old lady in college, and it's like we already raised her for the 19 years of her life. Now to the problem. I got a random message a week ago from someone I didn't recognize. When I opened it, I realized that Steve had sent the message. It was pretty long, so I'll just reword it here. "Hello, my name. I want to talk to you about Jane. When I found out she wasn't mine, my world shattered. I kicked her out because I couldn't bear to see her after the love of my life had betrayed me in such a devastating way. I know you had no fault in this, but it still hurts. Over the last year I've realized, my daughter will always be my daughter and nothing can change that. I want to reach out to you so I can apologize to her. Please let me see her again." At first I wanted to tell Jane, but then I remember a conversation about 7 months ago. My oldest son asked about Jane's other father, Steve, and I overheard Jane say something like, "Oh, you mean ex-father." He doesn't realize the damage he had done to me, and it took so long to recover. I have confided in only my wife about this, and she told me to just leave the message be and ignore it. So now I'm stuck with 3 outcomes: tell Jane about the message and raise hellfire again, respond to it myself and see how it goes, just ignore the message and let our life continue as normal. I'm not sure completely what to do. Edit, forgot to mention that my daughter still lives at home since the college isn't far away and she wants to save money. Just in case that's important. Also, she was more open to us about Steve as time went on, and she claims to have no love or respect for him anymore. That is all we have of the story. Thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to connect with each other in the comments below. Until next time, be kind, be curious, and I'll catch you in the next video. Until then, Corner Stories signing off.